You wake up late, the clock is ticking, and you can barely open your eyes. Still half asleep, you shuffle into the kitchen, grab a spoon, scoop from a dark brown jar, dump some granules into your mug, and pour in hot water. Within seconds, the aroma fills the house. In less than a minute, the miracle happens. You've got coffee, no filters, no brewers, no grinding. It's almost like magic. But have you ever stopped to think how that's even possible? How does that tiny brown powder come to life the moment it touches water? What goes on inside the factories that turns millions of raw coffee beans into one of the most consumed products on the planet? Today, you're going behind the scenes of instant coffee, and what you're about to discover might just change the way you look at your morning cup forever. It all begins long before the jar hits store shelves. It starts on massive plantations, spread across the globe: Brazil, Vietnam, Colombia, Ethiopia. Vast farms where every single bean is carefully grown, harvested, and dried. But unlike specialty coffee beans used in gourmet cafes, instant coffee is engineered for industrial scale. We're talking thousands of tons per year. The beans chosen are typically from the Robusta variety, stronger, more bitter, higher in caffeine, and ideal for heavy-duty processing without losing their kick. Once harvested, the beans go through a critical step: roasting. They're loaded into giant rotating drums while powerful flames heat them up to between 180 and 240 degrees Celsius. The goal? To make the beans crack open, release their oils, and develop that unmistakable coffee smell you recognize instantly. But here's a surprising detail. For instant coffee, the roast is usually darker, deeper, almost burnt. That's intentional. The flavor needs to survive multiple industrial stages that follow. Next comes grinding. The roasted beans are crushed in massive mills until they become a superfine powder, almost like flour. But that powder isn't the final product. It's headed for a stage called extraction, and this is where the science ramps up. The coffee powder is mixed with water in enormous stainless steel tanks like giant kettles. But this isn't just hot water. It's boiling under pressure, around 150 degrees Celsius, way above normal boiling point. This is only possible because the tanks are sealed, much like industrial pressure cookers. The goal here is to extract the maximum amount of flavor, oil, caffeine, and compounds from the coffee grounds in the shortest time possible. The dark liquid that comes out is a super concentrated coffee, almost like an essence. It's run through filters, decanters, and centrifuges to remove any solid particles. The result? A thick, dense liquid, absolutely packed with flavor and aroma. But now comes the big question. How do you turn that back into powder? There are two main methods: spray drying and freeze drying, also known as lyophilization, and both are mind-blowing. In spray drying, the concentrated coffee is sprayed into a gigantic chamber where scorching air, over 250 degrees Celsius, instantly transforms it into tiny droplets. These micro droplets evaporate almost instantly. What's left behind? Small, dry crystals of coffee falling like a brown mist to the bottom of the chamber. It's like watching a coffee storm inside a spaceship, but if you want to preserve as much flavor and aroma as possible, manufacturers use the more advanced method, freeze drying. In this process, the concentrated coffee is first frozen at 50 degrees Celsius, turning into solid ice blocks. Then, these blocks are placed inside a vacuum chamber. And here's where the real science kicks in. The frozen water inside skips the liquid phase entirely, sublimating directly from solid to gas. The result? Dry, porous coffee granules that maintain the closest resemblance to freshly brewed coffee. It's an expensive process, but the outcome is remarkably flavorful. You can taste the difference when you pour hot water into the mug. The aroma hits you instantly, almost like you just ground the beans moments ago. But it doesn't stop there. These coffee granules are then screened, tested, and analyzed for quality, moisture levels, and even chemical composition. Did you know that factories can detect flavor variations so subtle that even expert tasters wouldn't notice them? If a batch is slightly too bitter or not acidic enough, it might be reprocessed or rejected altogether. Everything is done to ensure that the flavor stays exactly the same every time, just like you remember it since childhood. And yes, even the jar is high-tech. Instant coffee containers are specifically designed to block out moisture, light, and oxygen. Moisture ruins the granules. Light alters flavor. Oxygen causes oxidation, breaking down the aromatic compounds. That little foil seal you tear open, without thinking, it's there to keep everything locked tight, ensuring that the coffee you open at home is identical to the one that left the factory weeks ago. And now, maybe the most fascinating part, reconstitution. Instant coffee is engineered to dissolve perfectly in hot water, and often even in cold. This requires solubility tests, temperature trials, and even crystal behavior studies. Yes, scientists dedicate years to perfecting instant coffee. Because every detail matters: the color, the texture, the way it mixes, the consistency of the flavor. All of it is tested with high-end lab equipment. And of course, by real people. Sensory panels taste dozens of samples every day until the final formula is locked in. In the end, what seems simple, just a scoop of powder, is actually the result of thousands of hours of labor, cutting-edge machinery, food engineering, chemistry, physics, and a global supply chain involving farms, factories, trucks, labs, and stores. So next time you scoop coffee into your mug, maybe you'll see it differently. Because it's not just coffee. It's a scientific operation happening every single day, just so you can start yours with a warm, comforting sip. If this video blew your mind, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and drop a comment below. What other food or product do you want to see revealed from behind the scenes of the industry? Because behind every simple thing, there's an extraordinary story. And here, we tell it like it really is.